Welcome everybody to another episode of Meet the Expert for vBrownBag, this time from the New Jersey UserCon in New York City. Well, actually in Jersey City, so this is technically Jersey. I'm here with, show your name badge, Hammad Alam, who I just learned from an introduction by my good friend Prabhu, that he's one of the BCDXs that is in the area. Yeah. I didn't know you before. I'd never seen you on Twitter. Please tell me everything about you. Like, introduce yourself first of all.
Hey guys, my name is Hammad. I'm part of NSBU customer success team within VMware. I've been with VMware for about 4 years, since NSX 6.0 ages, the very early ages, since right after Nisera bought out. Been a VCDX for about 6 months or so now.
Nice. Latest crop.
Yeah, 248.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and yeah, that's about, NSX. Basically, that's all my life is about.
So one thing I always love to do is when someone tells me you should interview this person because I really don't know them at all. So it really is like just like you guys are just meeting this person, I'm meeting them as well. So one thing that I actually love to ask people is, how did they get into IT? Tell me about your career.
Well, I've been to a lot of places. I came into IT because of my brother. Actually, my elder brother was in IT, and just follow the good path, and that's how I came in. I've been around the block. I started with Microsoft in Canada. Then I was
first job was at Microsoft?
You can say, essentially, first real job was in Microsoft. Then
you said Canada.
In Canada.
Okay, hold on. Where do you come from? How did you end up here? Let's start with that.
All right. So I'm actually originally from Pakistan, and then I moved to Canada. I lived there for a bit. Then I moved to California. So I lived in California for a bit with Riverbed technology. From Riverbed, I moved to VMware, and for past 7-8 years, I've been in Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm originally from Costa Rica, and I lived in, I spent like 11 years in Honduras, which is another Central American country. I've lived in Denver, Brooklyn, now I live in Pittsburgh, so I understand the nomadic, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go back to your career. What were you doing in Microsoft for your first job?
I was a part of the network support team, and basically supporting all the networking aspects of Microsoft products, server NT, server 2000, 2003, 2008, and DNS, Active Directory. They had a product called ISA firewall, if somebody still remembers. So I used to be the guy supporting it.
I used to run that in production.
Oh yeah, a lot of customers did. Yeah.
And after Microsoft, what'd you do?
Riverbed.
You mentioned Riverbed. Did that happen with the move to California?
Yeah, exactly. They hired me and I moved to California. Riverbed Technology, one of really good companies that I've worked with. I was part of their support team as an escalation engineer, then staff engineer. Became a lead staff based out of New York later. Did mostly WAN optimization, and they bought a lot of other companies, so did a tidbit of different things there.
But that seems to be like when you grew from just being, the guy was the running support into more architectural role?
Definitely, because I used to interact with a lot of customers, and not just from a support issue perspective, but more of architecture perspective. And then what I moved into was liaising with product management and technical product management to bring customer issues and liaise with Microsoft and some of the stuff that we were doing. So less of support. I was still part of support, but more of these other things. I was also big on education, training all the guys, those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah. And how did the jump to VMware happen? You mentioned you've been stuck with NSX, but
not stuck.
NSX.
So,
but how did that come in? Networking company, right?
Yeah, it actually comes down to the guy who hired me, my director Marcelo. If you ever see, thanks Marcelo. I don't know why he hired me, to be very honest, but what he saw, because in my opinion there was no fit, and he hired me, and I think it was one of the best things that have happened to me. I never thought I would work for VMware. I mean, that was just too big of a thing that I would dream of, but being at VMware is really privileged.
Yeah, okay. So what did you do in VMware? When you got in, what did they hire you for?
Yeah, I was hired in NSBU as a solutions architect. So what we do, we're a SWAT team. So anywhere where you have NSX being deployed or is already deployed and they need any help from architecture, design, deployment, implementation, my team can get called upon. Okay. So I've touched, I would say, more than 300 NSX production deployments, if not more. So you can tell basically I'm part of the team that goes around globally. We run a lot of programs for rapid deployments, design, education. So if you look at a lot of VMware education courses for troubleshooting, most of them were originally built by my team and then handed over to education. We did a lot of enablement for VMware support teams, PSO, sales, and now we are doing the same thing for the next generation of NSX transformers.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. All right, well, this is a great stuff, but we're focusing too much on the product. I want to focus back on you.
No.
So tell me about you've been working with NSX. You're probably one of the most knowledgeable persons that knows how to fix issues, right? You've been working 4 years with NSX. Are you still excited? Do you still find that this is interesting for you, or are you more excited about the NSXT coming around and you seeing different technology?
So that's interesting. I was talking to some of our colleagues today as well. So NSX in the first 2-3 years was this exciting new thing that people were trying to prove that this works.
Yeah.
Now we're at a stage where it's a given. NSX works. We have over 2,000 deployed customers. Mm-hmm. And NSX is becoming the de facto in all VMware offerings. And as Pat Gelsinger said in VMworld, if you're not running NSX, you're already behind. And now what is keeping me exciting is that all the different products and offerings in VMware are now centered around NSX. So be it Amazon integration, be it with Google Cloud, be it the on-prem or off-prem with IBM. Now all of these things are centered around NSX. Even within VMware AirWatch, the different kinds of vCloud Foundation, everything that VMware is offering has an NSX flavor to it. And that's something that I really like, and that I think we have so much on our plate, it's hard to catch up on. And that keeps me exciting and also from my team, one thing that we have is you can work on anything that you want. So if today I say I want to work on HCX or I want to work on Amazon, I basically have a pre-given go ahead, go do it. So that gives me the comfort that I'm not stuck with something. I can diversify, I can move into any direction, and NSX being the core of a lot of what VMware is doing, it allows me that flexibility to learn new things basically.
Okay. Well, getting back to something that you did, which I think is pretty amazing, the VCDX is not a joke. This is a real something that you have to dedicate your time, and you have to follow the blueprint, you have to prepare. You've been busy, quite busy working in NSX. So tell me about how it was for you preparing for the VCDX.
So to be very honest, I would never have done VCDX if it was up to me. And I would recommend to others as well that don't try to take this upon only yourself. Find a few folks which are like-minded and do it with them. So that way, because it's a huge undertaking. If you were to do it yourself, it's going to take a lot of time, and then you also need somebody to hash ideas with, and you can only do that when they own the same design as you do. So a couple of my colleagues, Abdul and Shazad, were the guys who actually basically forced me into a group with them to do VCDX, and I would say it was one of the most learning experiences, because being an NSX expert meant only focusing on NSX. Yeah. But with VCDX, NSX is only part of it. Yeah, you need to know the bigger picture. You are the architect. You need to know the vSphere, the automation, the operations, the troubleshooting, all of those aspects. And storage, some of the things that are very taboo for me. I never go in storage, but I needed to know that. I needed to make sure my design incorporates that.
Yeah. Plus, you have to defend each, even if you submit as a group, you have to defend individually.
Exactly. So that's the best part, right? And another thing that I feel, and as a message, if you are one of the people who are thinking of doing VCDX is not about how complex the design is. So if you pick a design, make sure, or try not to pick something very complex. Try to pick something which fits the user's need. Think about it from a business perspective. What were the business goals for the customer, and then how you fulfill those goals. And then if the design is not very complicated, that's still fine, because a complex design is not a requirement. A complete design is. So, you know, hopefully that helps somebody.
Yeah, it will. It will totally will. There aren't that many VCDX and V, so anybody that can hear something about this. I mean, I think he's taking it next March. Okay. So you know, it's good that he listens to this thing.
Definitely, and if you look me up on VCDX directory, I'm a mentor, so you can reach out to me from there as well.
Yeah, very cool. So let's get back to what you like. Like, what do you do for fun? Do you have a family?
I have family, 2 kids, and what is fun? Sorry.
Fun is what you do to smile, but you don't get paid for it.
Well, when I look at my kids, yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, you don't really have left so much time or energy to do anything. But I love, listening to music is probably one thing that I can do while working. I don't have to dedicate separate time for it. But other than that, to be honest, it's hard to find time to do anything.
Yeah, because you're. How about your? Do you actually have a home lab? Do you have your stuff over there? Or do you actually use VMware's resources?
I built once, but I don't really use it as much. I feel that the home lab, it's an excellent point, because you want to have home lab, sure, but home lab gives you insight into how do you install things and whatnot. These days there are so many things out there which help you with the install. So I don't think that I should be focusing too much on install. I should be focusing on features, how to use features. And especially for VMware products, I use HOL labs. For pretty much any feature, especially when it comes to NSX, there's a HOL lab. So my home lab, I built initial days, but I rarely use it anymore, because most of the times when I need a lab, I need to break something. And I don't want to do that in my home lab. I can do that on HOL labs. I can break the heck out of it.
That sounds good. All right. Are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. I'm not a very active user. VCDX248. But yeah,
You should be more active. That's how you get. So for me, Twitter is like a global directory. Like you can always tell any tech conference. People will say, "This is my name. This is what I do, and this is my Twitter handle," and people can find them. It's not like Facebook that is very, very personal and all your friends. It's more like this is an easy way to find me, kind of thing, if you ever need to reach out to me. So I'm going to be bothering about that.
Sure.
Now, Prabhu just told me that you made vExpert.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that.
Well, I recently made vExpert, so I'm actually looking forward to contributing more from the vExpert platform. That was one of the reasons I came to meet with you. And I'm looking forward to doing some more active work in the local community, in the vMug, to be present more. There's a latest tool that we just released at VMware called NSX PowerOps, and I'm looking to do a little bit more work on that and launch it from vExpert platform and the vMugs. So more work to come on vExpert platform.
That's pretty cool. What's it called? NSX?
NSX PowerOps.
PowerOps. Where can we find it?
GitLab.
Okay.
GitLab.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Do you want to say anything else? Say hi to Mom.
Hi to Mom. Hi to my wife, Bushra. Thank you for everything that you put up with. She puts up with a lot.
All right. Well, thank you so much.